Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Mags, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the Alchemy Lab. So, let's see here. Right now, I'm on Alchemy Lab Level 10, and currently, I'm doing the Alchemy Lab 10-9, and I believe it's 4. And the reason why I'm doing that is I just have a lot of like feathers and crystals and whatever else. So like if you look at it, I mean, I have like 9,000. I can just have like an endless supply of transmutations. I'm just basically doing autofill because really there's no way that I'm going to be using these things enough. Now, other people like if you're going to go free or like cheap to play, my personal opinion is just going to I think it's 4, 5, and 6, and I believe 6 is, I can't really go into it to tell you. I haven't researched it either. 6 costs, I think it's like 5 gems, so it's like even free to play players can actually transmute from there with, you know, getting a more desired amount of Alkashards. So right here you can see that I have Alkashards, and if you notice, I haven't even turned any of them in. I think that the devs kind of missed the boat on this, and the only reason why is just because with the advent of purchasing emblems, right? You know, they're roughly around about 50 gems per emblem or something like that. I can't really remember. Oh, actually, no, I'm sorry. There's like 15 gems per emblem. This combo, if you look at it, 50 gems for 10,000 Alkashards. If you were to do a pay transmutation, it's roughly going to cost you close to about 4,000 gems to get to 10,000 Alkashards. And so 4,000 gems, which is roughly in US dollars about $40, will cost you'd have to pay $40 for 50 emblems, which is almost like, I'm not quite concerned with the math here, but whatever. It's just not useful. I think that it would be okay if it was 5,000 for the 50 monk emblems or 50 fighter emblems, but you only get to choose one. Or they can make another option where it's 10,000 and you can have a choice of 2 of the actual rewards for that 10,000. This is something that they're going to fix. I'm holding off on my Alkashards until the devs actually change it, because I do think that they're going to change it eventually, because it is a broken reward system. It's just utterly useless. There's no reason to even have that goal to go there. Now, as far as the epic extension material chance, if you look into here, we have like chainmail, like, again, items, farmable ascension items that can be converted into a possible 4-star non-farmable or 3-star non-farmable, like compass, blades, or hidden blade, orb, you know, things like that. You're guaranteed one of those with a chance to have a 4-star item. Thank you. Like rings, Damascus blade, Tome of Tactics, you know, things like that. You get a chance of that. Now, I've run this, oh gosh, I want to say probably like 20 runs. I've done 20 runs of this transmutation, and I literally I think I've only gotten 2, which is not bad. I mean, you know, if you really think about it, because honestly, it's just really a cost of 150 gems, and farmables that I have like a lot of already, 3-star farmables that I have a lot of already. The purpose of the guaranteed epic extension materials or Alchemy Lab 10 is you can turn in your overlapping ascension mats, like the 4-star mats. For example, I used to have like 25 rings. So all of my dump going into Alchemy Lab 10 was rings. And because I had so many more than anything else. And what I'm hoping for is more of the Tome of Tactics, because that's like the one that I always struggle to get in my gameplay. Some people have an overload of Tome of Tactics or Damascus Blades or whatever else. And the purpose of Alchemy Lab 10 is to like try to even out your mat playing field. So plus you get the Alkashards, and I think there's, gosh, I can't remember. I do have a calculator. I'm sure Anchor will post the link to that calculator so you can kind of factor out exactly what you need. So I think I want to say you get 1,000 or 1,200 Alkashards for this one turn, and I believe this one does like 200 or 125. I can't remember. But again, this is all on the calculator. I used to be running the 9 or 8. And what I realized was 8 wasn't necessarily, I mean, it gives you the highest amount of Alkashards, but the problem is they're items that I use, like battle items that I use. And so it doesn't really help me as far as to keep it continual, to keep it ongoing. So to me, I don't think it's worth it. For other players that have been farming for like years, and that aren't, running events and whatever else, they have thousands and thousands of I believe they're 3-star battle items, or maybe they're actually 2-star battle items. I want like axes, bombs, things like that. Those are the battle items that you would be utilizing in here, and to give you 3-star battle items. So it really made no point. Plus, it also took, I believe these took 24 hours, if I'm not mistaken. So I use way more in 24-hour period of 3-star items in a day. So it's just doesn't seem right to me. The epic crafting materials, again, it's another item that really, in my opinion, doesn't really have validation, because they are items that you already use or need to use in order to go to the next level. So although I'd probably recommend 7 over 8, just because 7 is, a lot of people have a lot of those crafting materials. Plus, it's not necessarily something that is going to like really affect any of your like tourney stuff, or event things like that. The 6 is actually, in my opinion, something really nice. It's cheap. It's only, I believe it only costs like 5 gems, and it's again stuff that everyone has a lot of. So a 6 is a really nice little feature. I'm not a big fan of 5 either, because again, I run events, so I'm using arrows, I'm using mini mana, those types of things, and so I don't really, like utilizing or transmutating items that I'm frequently using. So all in all, like when you're doing your plan out, I highly recommend you going to Alchemy Lab 10. The reason for leveling all the way up to 10 is that you get the option to do 3 out of 3. If you kind of see that, the 3 out of 3, let me zoom in there. You see 3 out of 3. you only unlock 3 transmutations at once when you're at level 10. I believe it's when you're at level 1 through 5, you can only do 1. And then above 5, you can do 2 at a time. And then Alchemy Lab 10 will unlock 3 out of 3. Another thing to note too as well, I have 3 going at a time. So just because, you know, I got where I want to be as far as like what I want to transmute. But let's say if I have 1 free, so let's say I'm only using 2 out of 3. So like, let's say 9 and 10, I'm transmutating and whatever else. Well, the free one that's available, right? You don't have to transmute, and you can actually do researching of everything else, and it doesn't affect the timing of 9 and 10. So if I didn't have 4 transmutating right now, I could be researching 2, 3, 6, 5, 7, while 9 and 10 are still doing their transmutations, which is the bulk of Alkashards regardless. So, it doesn't really, the other stuff is just for me to just have it running. All in all, I think that, is it worth it? It depends on what you're looking for. In my opinion, I don't know if for the beginner players or for the cheap to play players, is this an option for you? I think if you have nothing better else to do, go ahead and do it. Cheap to play players, free to play players, there really is no incentive whatsoever to combine Alkashards 4,000 gems worth of transmutations just to get a ring. So that's $40 for 1 ring when you can get, you can save up for, the deals, the daily deals, the calendar deals where you can get a 4-star item for like $4 or $5. So it doesn't make any sense, you know what I mean, as far as the whole economic standpoint of the Alkashard combination. The real advantage, the only advantage actually, is 9 and 10, in my opinion. And 9 and 10 obviously are the most expensive, right? So you have, 250 gems here and 150 gems there. For 9 to have literally like 1% chance of getting a 4-star item, it again is not economically viable, I guess. As far as the 10s, like I explained earlier, if you have like, let's say 18 tomes and 4 Damascus blades, and then you have like just like a 5 here, 4 there of all the other elemental 4-star mats, then there is some argument to utilize the Alchemy Lab 10. And the only reason for that is just to balance out your mats. Other than that, in my opinion, I don't think until the devs actually change this to be more worthy to invest any gems or time and ham for that matter. If this was like 100 of the monk emblems or 100 of the fighter emblems, possibly. I honestly personally liked it when it was in beta where it was 200. 200 emblems is, like, in my opinion, worthwhile for the amount of gems that you have to spend to even get 10,000 Alkashards. All right, well, this is it. All right, thanks. Hope that helped you.